there it is. What could have been the best Mega Man.
Now, why do I say this? I mean, I personally think that this game is great and might even say that it's my favorite of the main series. Well, to answer that question, we have to start at the beginning first, which is the story of this game. And honestly, starting off with the story is pretty funny for this game because despite being probably one of, if not the most plot-heavy of the Mega Man series, oh wait, no, other than 8, it has no intro cutscene, which is just really weird since after Mega Man 2 introduced cutscenes to the series, you just expect all of them, all the games to have them. I guess they must have ran out of space. But regardless, the story, if you want to know what it is only obtainable or readable in the manual. And what this story basically says is that Dr. Wily has gone good now, apparently, and he is working alongside Dr. Light to create a big peace weapon. But now the robots that they sent out to mine the materials have started running amok. It is now up to Mega Man and his new robotic dog sidekick, Rush, to defeat these new 8 robot masters and put a stop to whoever is behind it all. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's actually start this review off with the gameplay. And the gameplay is still your 2D action platformer, and it's still a Mega Man game, so every time you beat a boss at the end of every stage, you gain their abilities. But unfortunately, the abilities in this game are kind of, well, crappy. I mean, there's stuff here that you'll probably never use outside of whatever boss it takes care of, like the top spin or maybe even the search snake, while on the other hand there's only like a few half-decent weapons like the Shadow Blade or the Magnet Missile. I don't know, my only guess is that they saw how overpowered the Metal Man's attack was in the last game and decided to prevent something like that happening ever again. But where this game lacks with the abilities you unlock, it more than makes up for it with what this game just adds in general, like the ability to slide. And with this new sliding ability, you are able to be more maneuverable. You can slide under enemies and their projectiles as well as pieces of the level that, like, you wouldn't be able to go through normally. This is also the first game where you actually climb up ladders faster, which is a nice bonus. This is also the game that introduces Rush the Dog, which is honestly just the items but with a canine face, as he can transform into a spring jet and submarine. But I will definitely say that Rush was much more useful in this game than the items were in the last one, and that he is much more easier to use. All in all, definitely a welcome addition to the series. And another welcome addition to the series is Proto Man, Mega Man's long-lost older brother, even if you only find out that at the end of the game, and there's really no reason for him to be attacking you as Breakman. Like, I don't think the game ever explains why he's against you. Alright, now let's wrap up the positive aspects of this game with the soundtrack. And the soundtrack in this game is great. So many great tracks, like Sparkman's theme, or Snake Man's, or the title screen, or even the boss theme. I mean, I might even go as far to say that out of the main 11 games, this has the best soundtrack overall. And not to mention that this game houses my favorite piece of music in the entirety of the Mega Man series, which is Dr. Wily's Castle 2. Alright, next, let's just get out of the way the general negatives of this game. Like how this game tends to slow down a lot due to all the enemies. I already said the weapons aren't very good. And the game can be also glitchy, like the section in Snake Man's stage with the clouds and how if you don't jump when they come up, they could actually push you off the platform. This game can also be a bit too easy, especially since the amount of E-tanks that you could hold was raised from 4 to 9. And finally, something that isn't really that bad, which is this game tries to do a formal twist with Dr. Wily and him being the villain again. I say formal because I don't really count the alien BS that happened in the last game. And I really only put this on here because this gimmick is overused way too much in the series. I mean, it'd be fine if it was like once or twice, but it's like half the games. where they try to make you think he's not the bad guy.
So, yeah, those are the negatives, and honestly, they're not too bad. So then what is it about this game that drags it down so hard? Well, I'll tell you what the fatal flaw of this game is. 2 words. Doc Robots.
So after beating the 8 Robot Masters, instead of going to Wily's castle, you are instead forced to replay 4 stages. And these 4 stages were already hard to begin with, but now are harder, as they are revamped with new pitfalls, enemies, and spike traps. But the levels themselves aren't that big of a deal in comparison to the 2 bosses in each level. Yes, I said 2. And these bosses are the hulking monstrosities that are the Doc Robots. And these things take on the abilities of the previous 8 Robot Masters. So now you're not only trying to avoid their huge bodies, but also frantically switching between weapons, trying to find their weaknesses. And I don't have to be the one to tell you how dumb it is to have 2 sets of weaknesses that you have to remember for one game. And weaknesses that really make no sense, honestly. Like, what was the one that really pissed me off was freaking... It was Quickman, and he was weak to Search Snake, which makes no sense because he won't stop jumping. You can't hit him with it. I mean, seeing that no other Mega Man tried something like this again, it's clear to see that even the people who made this game knew they screwed up. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about Mega Man 3. And in the end, it really sucks that such a small piece of this game managed to spread out and taint the rest of it. I always hated that visual glitch at the bottom right of the stage select. Like, it just bugs me that it's there. It should have been fixed before the game shipped out. I mean, they just had to have known that it existed. It's not like half of the time there or a quarter of the time there. It's always there. And this is unfortunately true regardless of which version you're playing, whether it's the original or on a collection. I mean, I can't think of another glitch that's been so obvious yet so everlasting. Well, I guess that's the price to pay with authenticity.